Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Intechlectual. We are back. Shady's back.
Back
Talk
again.
about mum spaghetti, knees weak, arms heavy. Episode 8. www. World Wide Web. Sorry,
I think there's one
www
more.
dot, to be correct. Subdomain, World Wide Web. I'm Louis, and I'm joined with my co-host.
Emmanuel.
And we are back.
Welcome. I think there's vomit on my sweater.
What?
I think there's
Do you want to
vomit on my
pause?
sweater.
So what have we got in store today? Do you want to do a roundup? Should I do a roundup?
We're gonna do a quick news because we have what would you call it? We're gonna educate you guys on key terminologies, key words, key fundamentals when it comes to the internet and how it's built, made up, and configured.
Yeah, you remember in episode 0 when we said we will do like teaching ones as well. This is one of them. We're coming
Yeah.
through. We're sticking to our word.
Each one teach one.
Each
This
one
is the
teach
teach one. It's like, you've heard that phrase before, right?
Yeah, but just gonna ignore it.
Why are you gonna ignore it? Anyway,
What we got before we teach some people some stuff though. We got
um, so
we got quick news.
Italy,
Quick news.
Italy, Italy.
What about Italy? Italia.
20% of Italians apparently have stopped using social media in the last year. Can you believe it, Louis?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you can? Why can't
Yeah,
you?
social media's crap. It's not worth it.
I mean, yeah, it depends on who you ask. If you're like a brand, a company, or what do they call them? Influencer. It's very valuable.
Influencer that. It sounds like a wet spaghetti.
I saw spaghetti.
Influencer. Every time I hear the word influencer, I literally just picture like a plate of like spaghetti that's been doused in water.
Wait, maybe I don't understand. Is this a euphemism for something, or
Yeah,
do
it's
you
just
actually picture
like you don't
spaghetti that's
eat wet spaghetti, right? So I just picture them being wet spaghetti. You just look at it like,
all right?
what is
So
this?
if you're a wet spaghetti influencer, it's useful. But for most people, they use it for entertainment or just to pass the day or talk to their friends and whatnot.
Memes.
And uh, the nation of Italy has seen a drop off 22% in in a whole year, and it's for certain things such as like privacy concerns, fake news, and people owning smartphones and their apps, and it's just like it's too much, and they're just they're sick and tired of it. They want to talk to people. They want to go back to how it is. They want to trust that their information isn't being misused. So there you go. And I think it's not just Italy. I don't know what the numbers are for everywhere else, because that news was from Arts, Culture, and Style, but I'm pretty sure if you look around, it's probably a drop off in the whole world.
C.
Isn't that Spanish?
No, C is yes in Italian as well. C.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What's ciao?
Hello or goodbye. The informal version.
Wait, okay. What's So ciao bella means what?
Hello, beautiful.
Oh, so that's why she called me that.
Oh, we're getting into a different, different type of podcast.
Oh no.
Apple,
What did Apple do?
not Apple themselves. It's what's happening to Apple. Apple employees are using Android phones, banner, to communicate about forming a union. So they are trying to plan and form a union, but they don't want Apple themselves snooping on it because of using Apple devices by Apple. They say they don't use data, but we all know that's complete doo-doo. It's just ironic, right? It's mad that has to come to something like that. Would you agree? Like, you can't even use the company you represent's devices because of what you're trying to do would be snooped on and shut down before you can even do it.
I think yes, you're right, but also at the same time, it's like how often do you have a company that uses or creates hardware that people use on a daily basis that you're trying to unionize against? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're trying to unionize against Amazon, you don't need to use different applications or different phones. Whereas like Apple do make phones, so as an employee, you have like less trust in, hey, maybe I am being. Although technically there should be the best encryption and the best privacy of a smartphone in the world. But if you're an employee there, you're like, I'll take my chances with this other phone because, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's how it crumbles. You have to make sure that, you're private and you're able to talk and liaise and unionize in peace. Otherwise, it'd crumble. So shout out to them. Use other phones. Use Android phones. I always see like marketing companies as well, especially ones for Android like phones. Or what was that company? Is it Huawei? There's like a Huawei like company that made a tweet about like buy a new phone, and then it at the bottom on Twitter you can like put, or it can like stamp on what phone it was tweeted from, and it was like tweeted from iPhone, and it was like a Huawei Mate Pro like advert, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, surely you're smarter than that. But yeah,
I mean, you don't have to use what you're
you don't, but it
like.
doesn't look good.
Like all the
It,
people doing the McDonald's campaigns, right, for their ads and all their like different burgers and whatever crap, right? How many of those people do you think actually eat it? I don't
well,
know. Maybe they get like free McDonald's, so probably they do.
also, it's funny you say that because I know a few friends that work for Subway, and you'd think a lot of people do avoid foods that they work with because one, it's just like you work with it every day, so it's kind of like you don't want to. You see it often enough, you don't want to like eat it as well.
You see some
But
stuff
then you
that
get, yeah, exactly. But sometimes you find like people that are like, actually, you know what? If you get this burger, trust me.
don't.
No, no, no. Like it's good.
Oh,
So they
okay.
also know what, you know what I mean? So they also know what's best. So there's also that flip side of don't get this, get this. So where are we going with this? Where did this
So
come from?
what we've learned, ladies and gentlemen, is Manny is more optimistic and I'm more pessimistic.
I think if you listen to any of our previous podcasts, this has been the case.
You know that we're both crackers.
We are
Me,
both
I think me
crackers.
more so, but anyway.
Or maybe I've just not opened up enough. Maybe I just played devil's advocate. Maybe
Can of
I'm double the
worms.
crackers that you are. But we've got to keep a balanced argument.
I
How
think
about
we're
that?
equal quackers. Just
Yeah.
anyway,
Quackers.
quackers, yeah,
Equality.
quackers.
Equality.
Stop it. Um,
What's the third one?
third
We
one.
had a third quick news. Quick news, quick. It's meant to be quick.
Yeah.
Steam Deck. They've
Yes.
released, not released, but released something which is a few devices to select individuals, kind of like a beta. What would you call it? Because you bought
No,
one, right? You bought one.
it's not a beta. So
A beta.
the Steam Deck, which we will probably do a whole episode on it at some point. I'm buying one, so I
Wait,
can
Louis,
give you like an
what's a
honest
Steam
review.
Deck?
Huh?
What's a Steam Deck to people that don't know?
Steam Deck is think of like a Nintendo Switch, think of like an Xbox, think of like a PlayStation, think of your PC gamers out there using your PC, amalgamate them all into one handheld device that puts you as the user at the forefront of anything and everything that you do, with not open source, but like the ability to do whatever you want with mid-level consumer grade hardware for a ridiculously cheap price. At the same time,
Wait, how much is it?
I think the base model is like $299 or $399.
Wait, the word you used was what?
Sorry, Sam.
Affordable.
Yeah, so that
How much is a Switch?
huh?
How much is a Switch?
I think they're like 200 quid.
So back to
But hang on. The difference is though, this is what I was gonna say. It's a platform, so it's not just tied to Steam OS. Sorry, it's not just tied to Steam OS. It's not just you only can play games that Valve have created. You can play any game you want. The operating system, you can install Windows on it. It's basically a computer.
Gotcha.
So like the Nintendo Switch, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You don't have a touchscreen, touchpads, um, uh, joystick, and a D-pad, and then multiple triggers on the back.
Gotcha. So you get more bang for your buck.
You're basically getting a mini computer
Yeah.
that has got some mad
Like a
specs on it.
mobile gaming PC.
Yeah.
It's a mobile gaming PC. There you go.
Well, it's not a mobile gaming PC. I don't know the word. There's a word for it, but yeah, it's mad. I would.
A mobile gaming PC.
Yeah. Anyway, they've uh, they've had it in, like, you could pre-order it for like what, over a year now. And they've started shipping out models to consumers today, as of today, like 28th of Feb. Um, so some consumers will start getting their first models, but there's been review models out there with like YouTubers and stuff like that. So there's loads of information out there. Um,
Wait, I'm a YouTuber. I have like 200 followers. Where's mine?
did you ask for Alpha One?
Damn it.
Sounds like a you problem, bro. Um, but yeah, more comment on that soon. Madness, completely changing the game, and there's many reasons. I won't get into it because this is meant to be quick news. But yeah, look out for that.
MGPC,
What?
mobile gaming PC.
Nah.
It's gonna catch on, Louis. There's nothing you can do about it. Get it trending, guys. MGPC hashtag.
End recording.
But yeah, that's the quick news. People are not using social media anymore in Italy.
Apple employees are using Android phones to communicate about forming a union.
And the Steam Deck is on the verge of being released, but it's kind of released, but not really, but kind of, but it's out, but it's not. We're going to find out more.
Models are going to consumer as of today, and they'll probably get them in the next couple of days. So it's out.
So stay tuned. The MGPC is here.
Yes, that's correct news.
And now we go into our segment, Key Internet Terms.
Do it.
HTTP and HTTPS. What are they? HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and the S in HTTPS stands for secure. It's the same concept, just one secure. Why is it more secure, you ask? Well, secure uses SSL, which is secure socket layer, or transport layer security, which is TLS. So if you've ever heard of SSL and TLS, that's what those are. They're protocols for encryption. TLS is becoming more widely the standard of HTTPS, and most SSL certificates support both SSL and TLS protocols. The TLS is more modern nowadays, and SSL is kind of depreciating and being phased out as people are using, not people, everyone, I guess, in this day and age, starting to use TLS more often. And Louis, would you like to give us a little rundown of the process of HTTP and how that request works?
Yeah. When was SSL deprecated? Was it 2015? SSL 3.0 was deprecated.
I think I know the answer to that, maybe.
Yeah, I would hedge a bet 2015, 2016 it was deprecated. And then TLS like 1.2, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 is like the go-to now. Hopefully you should be using that if you can, but not everyone supports it. Anyway, so HTTP, right? You're like, whoa, what is this? Why do I care about what this is? Well, when you go using your browser, whatever of your flavor, won't mention any names because that's, I was gonna say propaganda. It's advertisement for them. I won't do that. So when you go into your browser, you type in a URL like anchor.fm/intellectual. Your browser sends a HTTPS, hopefully, request to the actual server itself. The server then processes your request if it's authenticated, if it allows you, gets the correct resources, does its server-side processing, that's what that's called. Then the server then sends that response in the form of a HTML document. So HTML is hypertext markup language. It's an XML format. That response is then sent to your browser alongside other resources like CSS, which is cascade and style sheets. So that's the thing that makes the browser response to the HTML page look pretty. So it's the colors and formatting and stuff, alongside JavaScript, which is something that allows the functionality for the page not to come alive, but to do processing. Like you click a button, it will say submit a form or something like that. All of that's bundled and sent back, and the browser renders the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. And that is the web page, the fancy colors and graphics and whatever that you get. That, in a nutshell, is HTTPS.
So Louis, we covered HTTP, but I keep hearing about HTTP 3. What the hell is that?
Zoom. So like as you mentioned about SSL and TLS, they're like different protocols for encryption. HTTP has different standards, where HTTP 1, so the OG boy, so to speak, edition of HTTP, would only allow a request for one file at a time. HTTP 2 built upon that, and that protocol introduced multiplexing. So it allowed a client to request those, say 10 files at the same time in parallel over one single TCP connection. So asynchronously, it it's what the World Wide Web is using now. The majority of things is using it. I think HTTP 1 you can't use it. I genuinely think it's been like fully deprecated at the moment. I'm not too sure, but everything's using HTTP 2 at the moment. That now leads on to HTTP 3, which introduces the true concept of multiplexing, which I won't get into what is and isn't the true concept of multiplexing in HTTP 2 and HTTP 3 because that can be a whole discussion in itself. But HTTP 3 doesn't use TCP. It now uses a new protocol called QUIC. So that's QUIC, which is meant to be a general purpose transport protocol, which creates, how would I describe this, like a series of stateful streams over UDP. I've probably like gone straight over the head of half the people listening to this, but you following me, Manny?
I am.
Yeah, cool.
I'm going to summarize it.
Yeah, you are going to summarize it. Which the true concept of multiplexing will increase the speeds even further than what HTTP 1 to HTTP 2 did. So from HTTP 2 to HTTP 3, it might not be show-stopping. It might be like, oh crap, this is the newest thing. But building upon that to make an even more reliable, efficient use of single connections as the digital age is going can be very beneficial. Yeah.
HTTP 3 makes things faster, especially if you're far away, so you won't notice any drop-offs, especially in like ping, etc., etc., etc. And it's not fully here yet, but it's they're making the RFC. Is it a committee? Like who are they? Like what do
anyone in the world?
So everybody is it? So you wouldn't class as open source, would you?
No, because it's not like a software. It's like a document that describes a protocol or an implementation.
Gotcha.
So like wiring standards, networking protocols, blah blah blah.
Moving on, DNS, which stands for domain name server. As Louis mentioned, if you have a web address such as anchor.fm/Intechlectual, you should go to that if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Check it out. Subscribe as well,
Don't know who they are.
Listen to all the podcasts, etc., etc. So you have a web address such as that. You request that site, which means that you type it into your browser and click enter. And the DNS server, or the DNS, I guess it's just DNS. I always say DNS server. People say DNS server all the time. But the S means server, so you're saying DNS server.
Wait, is it service? Domain name service? Domain name system? What?
It's a system.
Yeah, system. So then it runs on a server.
DNS server. Right, yeah. So DNS, correction, stands for domain name system.
Domain name system.
And that's what responds to the IP. What's an IP? Or it doesn't matter. Every web address you type into the internet or into the web browser has an IP, and the DNS connects the two. So if you're a browser and you make a connection, the underlying server links the two. So you can access websites via the web address that you're given, such as youtube.com, or if you know the youtube.com's IP address, you can type that in, and the DNS system or DNS server puts the two together and makes sure you're matched accordingly.
So big brain would be like, well, my DNS server that I'm connecting to, how does that know every single website in the world? Doesn't. It works on a hierarchy structure. So you connect in Joe Blogs at home, you've got an ISP, so internet service provider, so you're with, call them Company X. I'm not giving anyone any shout out, they don't pay us any money. You work with you pay Company X for internet connection. You want to go to youtube.com, say the device that you're on will use, typically if you haven't changed it, your router as it'll go to it and say, hey, look, I want this address, have you seen it before, give me the IP for it. If that doesn't know what that address would resolve to, or maybe it's changed or it's become stale. That will then go to the next level, which would be, say, some infrastructure in your ISP, which they might have different exchanges, so where it's all physically connected in the world, and they might have different layers of DNS. But then if the DNS doesn't know, they might go to a higher level DNS. I can't remember what the word is, but like, say there's essentially like a DNS for like a whole city, and then maybe a country, and then maybe a continent. So like you can keep pointing to higher level DNSs or to other DNSs, spread that, and then eventually someone will be like, "Yeah, I've got the IP for YouTube. Here you go," and then your browser itself will know how to make that TCP connection to it.
There you have it. DNS.
Yeah, DNS. What's the next thing? So I touched on routers, which I won't get into the concept of a router, but you may have heard of DHCP, which is the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So when you pay for internet or you have a connection, you have one public-facing IP, but say you've got 50 devices in your house that connects to the internet, you can't give 50 devices in your house a public-facing IP because there's not that many IP addresses in the world, which we'll come on to afterwards, and the difference between that and the different versions. So what DHCP does is it configures and distributes the IPs within your network, um, as well as other configuration for stuff like the default gateway, subnet masks, and the DNS information, as we just said. That's DHCP in a nutshell. I talked about networks and like your home network. I'm gonna hand it over to Manny, who's gonna describe what a VPN is. You wanna take it away, mate?
VPN? The hell is a VPN? Oh, it's a virtual private network. And this is an encrypted connection over the internet. And it works pretty much by connecting or creating, sorry, a tunnel from your device to the server, which in turn hides your IP, which is your physical location, and your network traffic. So to your ISP is another key term, your internet service provider, such as like BT, Virgin, Sky, the one that you get for your router, home hubs, etc., etc., etc. They can't see where you're sitting to your home, and they might think that you might be in France. So you can change your location to anywhere else in the world. And they also can't see what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you're doing it. And so basically no one should be able to know where you are, who you are, or what you're doing. And this can be set to any device. So your laptop, PC, heck, console, mobile. You can download applications and packages and stuff from there's loads of companies now that do VPNs. You've probably heard of NordVPN, WireGuard, etc., etc., etc. They're all dandy. Some come at costs. Most of them do, actually. I'm pretty sure. Louis, does all of them? Is there free VPNs, like good ones?
You can get free VPNs. What they
You trust them?
usually charge is like how much bandwidth you get. So
Yeah,
you might get slow bandwidth on the VPN, but it's free. But then you can pay for certain versions, which gives you your true internet speed. Obviously, you can't get true internet speed for a VPN because you're still routing your traffic to a different server and it's coming out a different end, so you still have to have that connection. It's one additional network hop.
exactly. And back to the point of you can change what country it seems you're in. This is how certain people get access to American Netflix when they're in the UK, or Japanese Netflix when they're in China, etc., etc., etc. So having a VPN installed onto whatever device you're on can also make it look like you're there. So if you can use applications or websites or services as if you're in those countries. So that's a little point there. And all of that, as we mentioned, hiding IPs or changing where it is. What's an IP, Louis?
Don't know.
Intellectual property?
I have to find out. Um, Intellectual property. Um, IP stands for Internet Protocol. So we talked it a lot, and it's what you use to connect to servers. It's what servers have tied to them, their network interfaces, to know where they should be accepting traffic from. So we've covered DNS servers, so double check domain name system servers. Get that right again. So you might go to haveibeenpwned.com, which is a great website. You put your email address in, you can see if you've being included in any data dumps that people have been hacking and stuff. Would recommend that. Um, you type in haveibeenpwned.com, the DNS gives you the IP, and then the device you're connecting from, so be it a browser or SSH, whatever you're doing, then knows to make a TCP connection to that. IPv, so IPs have two different versions, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
versions. So, I mean, it is a version, but like at the same time, I'm like, it's a standard.
true.
So like, although
Different
it's
version.
like version 4 and version 6, it's IPv4 is one standard and IPv6 another standard.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know where the buck lies in how you would refer to it, but I'll just say versions. So IP is the thing, two different versions, IPv4 and IPv6. So IPv4 is numerical dot notation, which is, like I said earlier, like 10.1.22.167. So it's 32-bit. You have 8-bit octets, 4 octets. I said that right, 4 octets. Yeah, 4 is 32. And then IPv6 is, get this right, alphanumeric hexadecimal notation. So alphanumeric is all the letters in the alphabet plus all of the numbers. So A to Z, 0 to 9. And then hexadecimal is let me get this right, it's base 16. So it's a representation of the point system using base 16, which I won't get into the specifics of. A lot of the math people out there might know what hexadecimal is and blah blah blah. Look it up, recommend it. Might be a nice little knowledge nugget for 10 minutes. But with that, IPv6 then has 128-bit. So with 128-bit, as you can imagine, the address of it is longer. So a full IPv6 address might be something along the lines of 6789 colon ABCD colon 123 colon EF98 colon 321F colon. No, it's not colon. Is that colon? The two
Yes.
dots. Yes, yeah. Jesus,
Yeah.
I had a brain fart. Where they get to, and then like EDCB
You
colon
missed.
AFT1.
You missed the 4 and the 1, 2, 3, so you just had a
Anyway,
3 digit. But yeah,
128
if
bit,
you
so
see like you can
32.
add numbers and letters, it's IPv6. If you just see numbers, it's IPv4.
Yeah, so it's 32, 32 characters with the amount of colons, and then obviously it goes up to 255. So 3, 6, 9, 12, up to 12 characters, up to 12 digits long
Sorry.
would be IPv4. Anyway, I digress. You can just Google IPv4 versus IPv6, and it'll tell you. Getting back to the actual specifics of it, V4 is running out. So V4 has been in, yeah, it's running out, right?
Space.
It's going to stale. It's going stale. It's going moldy. No. So V4 was,
No, it's like you have too much bread in your bread bin. You need a bigger bread bin.
I guess, but
Yeah.
but V4 and V6 is changing the bread.
Yes. But you can hold more bread now.
Yeah. What's your favorite bread?
Tiger. What's yours?
Mine has to be a
Actually,
sourdough.
I prefer is it Bloomer with cranberries and cashew nuts and raisins or sultanas? That's the
What?
best ever.
Mad.
Yeah, from Tesco.
Oh, you fancy.
Trust me.
Mine's sourdough. That's my
My
sourdough.
bread game is crazy. Don't even at me.
We have to talk about food at some point. That would be a great topic. Yeah, come back to the point in itself. So IPv4 is running out. What we mean by running out is V4 and V6 both have a finite amount of addresses, but V6 has a ridiculous amount more addresses than what V4 does. So V6 is a standard. It's been there. So what was it? V4 first was like introduced in like I think 1975, and I believe V6 was introduced in 95, so 1995.
Really?
Yeah, 1995. It was introduced then, but it become a standard, I think, in
Right, right.
2017 when like the RFC was like, "Hey, look, this is agreed. This is high enough. This is now the protocol, I believe." Um, I might have got that a little bit wrong, but we'll find out. V4 is running out, like we said. V6 is becoming the adoption. It is up for adoption. People are starting to use it, and you'll see it more and more. Um, V4 has 4.3 billion addresses because it's 32-bit, where V6 is 128-bit, so it allows for, this may or may not be right, 340 trillion IP addresses, um, which the actual notation is 3.4 times 10 to the power of 38 to just a few. Which the other thing that comes with V4 and V6 is with V4 you have to have the DHCP because there's no auto configuration, whereas with V6 there is the ability and it supports auto configuration. So like you can start to then simplify some of your network. Um, how some of the underlying implementations work is above my head, and I deal with networks and all sorts of stuff on a daily basis. So yeah. Speaking of networks, right, I'm gonna let Manny drop a little acronym for you. Well, a couple of acronyms, and we'll see if you understand any of them.
LAN, MAN, and WAN. What do they all mean? Give you. We need a countdown, like countdown, countdown. You know,
10 seconds. Should I just count down 10?
Wait, is that copyright?
Let's
Can't
count
do
down.
that.
Yeah, it can't do that.
Damn.
They'll fire us.
Anyway.
No, they won't fire us. We're not even over them. What one of that? Sue us.
I'll talk about LAN. A LAN you've probably heard of is a local area network, and that's a small geographical network such as your home, office, or school. School, school.
Ski. Oh, I love that.
What's a man, Louis?
Man
It's a
is.
man's world.
Oh no. What is that song?
It's a man's world.
Yeah, but who? By who?
Ah,
Gotcha.
not Bobby Brown. Davis? No, it's not Davis. It's a man's world.
I keep getting mixed up with like Lamar.
Lamar, no, it's like in the 60s, bro. James
Yeah, I know.
Brown. James Brown is James Brown.
You know when the way you were singing it was reminding me of not
Did he write it though?
no Lamar. What was the song Lamar
I was
song?
right. It was the 60s. Oh my gee. Listen, don't tell me about music, bro.
Lamar.
I did think of Sammy Davis Jr. It wasn't.
Yeah,
I also
cool,
thought Otis Redding, but it wasn't. It's James Brown. It's James Brown.
nice. And see, look, we
James
do all
Brown
sorts here,
James
not
Brown
just
did the
tech.
moonwalk first, by the way.
Did what?
The moonwalk.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Michael Jackson stole it from him. Okay.
Controversial. But a metropolitan area network. So it's something along the lines of it's bigger than a LAN in terms of geographical size, such as like a city, or it's a larger area that contains multiple LANs. Um, so imagine like a a mind diagram or like a star topology. You have the man in the middle, and then you have all the LANs connecting to it, which then gets even more bonkers. You want to tell me what a WAN is, mate?
A wide area network. And that's a larger geographical region, such as the whole world.
Wait.
And this
Sorry, WAN, go.
wide area network, which is a larger geographical region, such as the whole world. And this can be composed of multiple mans and multiple lands together. And it's not tied single location, unlike the other two. So it's the in-between and the be-all, end-all everywhere. Hence wide. It's very wide.
Very wide. I
Very
mean,
wide.
like you remember how I said earlier about DNS, like you would go up the food chain, so to speak, of the hierarchy to go to the next level of the DNS to then go to the next level. It's kind of
I
like,
remember, yes.
yeah, it's kind of like jumping up from a LAN to the man to the WAN. Um, it would do that in its hierarchy to go get that information.
Yeah, that's the run through. Next time we'll do this again, and we'll do more, like you said, routers, switches, managed switches and unmanaged switches,
NATs,
whatever. NAT, you gotta do NAT. Can't miss out NAT.
latency.
TCP and UDP, we can be more in depth in those as well, I guess, because we did mention them a few times.
We should do a whole one on like encryption and like ciphers
yes,
and stuff. That would be.
That's coming. Encryption would be good.
Got a mad idea for that, but I wouldn't say it out loud because if we don't come through, no one can hold us to it.
That's true. Or people can steal it as well, so don't keep that tucked.
Yeah. Under lock
Keep
and
it
key.
encrypted. See what? Yeah, listen.
So this has been episode 8. www.
Episode 8 rhymes with great. I eat grapes.
Should we go for a quick rundown of what we covered today?
Yeah, did a quick.
We'll go each one. I'll take your ones. You take my ones.
All right.
Yeah. HTTP and HTTPS, hypertext transfer protocol, and then obviously the secure SSL, secure socket layer, transport layer, TLS, and then the process of you go to a web page and what your browser does goes to the server and comes back with the processing.
Wait. Are we actually going through it?
No. I was just summarizing it.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Real quick, like quick fire for it. So you do HTTP 3, but there's 3 different standards. 3 is now multiplexing, even faster.
Sure. Cool. Is it me now or is it still you?
Shoot for HTTP 3.
HTTP 1, the first, 2, second, introduce multiplexing, and 3 introduces true multiplexing, and it's a lot faster than the other ones. And it's still being documented, built, as you said, brainstormed. So we're getting there. It's kind of there. It's going to be faster. It's going to be great. Can't wait. What's DNS, Louis?
Domain name system. It's one domain name system, usually run on a server. You go to something like anchor.fm/Intechlectual, and it's what translates
Not quick, Louis.
a very nice, pretty name into an IP which it connects to. What's DHCP?
DHCP configures and distributes IPs.
Boom. Static
Network.
IPs.
There you go,
VPN.
VPN.
Virtual private network. Can encrypt
does it do?
and tunnel your traffic to different locations in the world, protecting your traffic and your IP, and if you're doing something dodgy, I guess. What's an IP?
It's an address for all your devices, and it connects all together, and it puts it in a DNS server, and it's all good and dandy. What's the LAN man and WAN, Louis?
Local area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network. Wide area network contains multiple mans. Each man contains multiple LANs. LAN,
What is
man,
this?
WAN.
What is this? Is a podcast, Intechlectual, by me and Louis. That's Manny and Louis. And what date? What episode is this, Louis?
Episode 8. What's the
What's
title?
it called? www.
Dub. What are we?
Mans.
Quackers. And on that bombshell,
Thank you for listening.
We bid you adieu and say ciao
Until next time. Until episode 9.
Peace.
Have a good week. Stay safe. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Bye.